Well, yeah, I don't just say forget it, but um, I had one today that was another fire gun. I don't know if you were having these over there in Georgia or not, Mike, but a lot of people are selling houses, and they are getting the fire insurance and bouncing.
Yeah.
Yeah, we talked about that. And I was just like, that's not right. That's not right. But
No, but that's how it works. I mean,
yeah,
that's why they paid it, to collect money.
Yeah, and then, I mean, if you're getting the property, for let's say it's a $200,000 property all fixed up for 60 grand or 50 grand, let them take it.
yeah. So
I told you the story about the guy that did that with hotels down in Daytona. In that, I think it was like 2005 or six, whatever year, we had 3 hurricanes in 6 weeks. Literally
Wow.
beat the crap out of the older hotels, the ones that were built like in the 50s and 60s. And then what he did is he went in and gave the owner like 10 or 20 grand to put an option contract on the property. And he said, listen, when the insurance check comes in, you just go ahead and take it. And then, I'll just sell the hotel. And he ended up running full page ads in the Wall Street Journal. And I mean, the guy made like $10 million in like 8 months.
that's wild.
Yeah.
Damn.
That's wild.
But that's smart. Well, I mean, and the thing about it is he sold those contracts to big developers out of New York City at the peak of the market in 2006, just before 2007. And
so he basically bailed out with a bunch of money that when the big bankers or whatever were sitting there going, "What a mofo."
Yeah, but the thing about it is those big hedge funds, big banks, big developers, they just write it off.
Right.
They just write it off, and
Yeah, that's true.
and then you carry that forward until you recuperate it with profits from the following years.
Right on.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean that's a option contracts are a great way to to invest in real estate with almost no money down. Now, granted, if you've got a hotel that's worth $10 million, you put a contract in on that, your EMD is not going to be $1,000,
Right.
But an option contract, hey, you give me an option for $10,000, $15,000, and now I got 6 months to sell it.
That's cool.
Yeah. I haven't done that in a long time.
You got more people coming on. Christina and Alexis Vasquez.
Very cool.
Hi, guys.
I kind of put it out there like, hey, anybody that's struggling, like, we've been talking about, let's get together and figure out how to get people deals.
Awesome. I thank you.
Kind of like this one right here.
You got that one under contract today?
Not yet, but it's a subject to deal that I found up in Jacksonville.
That's awesome.
Nice.
Yep. And awesome. I offered full price on the property.
That's awesome.
Yep. They had it. I mean, they've got the house listed at full price, and it's in foreclosure. It's 2 months into foreclosure.
That'll work.
Now the thing about that one is, I didn't send it over with like a letter of intent, explained everything, blah 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 blah. What I did is I just sent over a contract. You're a realtor. You're supposed to be smart enough to figure this out. So tomorrow morning, when he's like, "What do all these numbers add up to?" Then I'll explain it to him. But I'm gonna say to him, like, "Did you explain it to your seller?"
Yeah.
And the reason why you should take this offer is because I'm going to give him a $34,000 note. Plus, I'm going to give him 10 grand to move on with his life.
That's money in the bank right there.
in a foreclosure situation, that is the best offer he's going to get. Because the realtor was even trying to tell me, like, you know, because I introduced myself as a wholesaler, and he's like, you know, if you're trying to wholesale this property, that doesn't work in this market. I'm like, yeah, I know.
Well, I just got off the webinar, and you don't need what Jamil was saying, and I don't know this because you could probably tell me, Mike, is that transactional funding will take that wholesaling tag off of you, and you don't even have to tell them, I'm just a buyer. I don't have to tell you how I'm going to do it anymore either. I don't mind being transparent. I think that's good business and good relationship. But if they're going to be ugly and snob their nose up to being a wholesaler, then I won't say anything.
Yeah. Well, on this one, I might not. I probably won't wholesale it. If I can get them to accept this offer, I'll probably do a pad split exit.
Yeah, we talked about that the other day.
Because all in, if I can structure this and then go out and borrow $40,000 from a gator at 10% interest, this thing will still cash flow $924 a month.
That's nice.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Yeah. So, yeah, you don't have to wholesale. I heard Pace say it yesterday or the day before, maybe one of the TikToks I was watching, is the market has changed. Now with interest rates rising, this deal right here, the mortgage is at 5.75%. You can't go get a mortgage like that anymore. And I was looking at some other deals today that were like 2.5, 3.8. Yeah, you can't get those mortgages anymore. We'll not see those mortgages again in our lifetime.
Yeah, that's sad, but yeah, it's true.
Yeah, but it's just you've got to know that the market's changed and change with the market.
Right.
You know, it's just an extra skill set. So, I don't know about you guys, and I'm pretty sure I've sent this to you. Have I sent you guys my time box?
No,
Yeah,
I haven't that one.
No, I haven't got it.
All right.
Yes, I have it.
Anybody that wants it, just drop an email in chat or whatever, and I'll send you my time box that I use every day.
Okay.
Looks like this. And that's the one from today.
Now, what does that do for you?
It keeps me focused and organized. So, like for me in the morning, I start working like 7:30, and I do my data research for a particular market. Then I put out my social media post. I schedule my social media posts for the day, and then I send out the email for that market. And then from 9 until 10, I've been working on a foreclosure project. So I'm getting data. Then I took like a 30 minutes off, just kind of get ready for the day. And then the rest of the day was just calling foreclosure sellers. And then, so basically what I'm doing is I'm just ticking off sellers I've called, offers I've made. Here's where I put in, well, top is Privy, always using Privy. And then whatever project I'm working on, I'm also working on buying a coin-operated laundry right now. So I make calls to owners of coin-operated laundries. And then, of course, here's the different projects for the day. Like setting up this Zoom call was the first thing I did this morning. But bottom line is it just keeps me organized.
Okay.
So that I can say, all right, I've got to get these projects done. I'm going to, set this chunk of time, that chunk of time, that chunk of time, that chunk of time. Because I'm the kind of person that when I get into a mode, I'll stay there all day. Like if I get into calling sellers, I'll lose track of time. I'll look up like, wow, it's 6:30 already.
Okay.
And I think I pretty much say it every day. Consistency is king. you know, when you don't have a team, you know, I watched a video and you know, when you watch videos from Pace and Jameel, they're like, oh, you know, we're going to buy 500 houses this year. Yeah, you got a team of friggin' 25 or 30 people. You know, Jameel's got 80 people that work for him. Well, yeah, you can do 500 houses when you got 80 people that work for you. But when it's just you doing everything, that's when time management is critical.
Right.
So, how do you guys organize your days?
Well, I use something similar, basically time blocks. But I have to come up with a new set because Heidi and I changed our business model as of Friday. We're going in dispo heavy and with limited acquisitions from wholesalers and agents, specifically limited amount with agents. We're just going to do outreach to the agents that we've already contacted. No new agents, except for Vegas.
Right.
For me, I I get on Privy usually at night and comp a bunch of houses and then call them in the morning. I start at 9 a.m. But that's because it's Phoenix time. I got to start calling at 7 in Georgia because Georgia's 2 hours different. So, and then I go on to
3
try to
hours.
call agents. Yeah. But I got a couple lists from Fidelity and I'm trying to chop it down. They give you so much information. I mean, like too much information. It spans like at least 70 columns. 70 columns. And I don't know what that is. That's ridiculous.
What information are they giving you? I mean, for me, all I need is address, city, state, zip, agent, phone number.
Well, they're giving me more than that. They give me direction, adjacent to schools, high school, elementary school, size of lot.
Yeah, you don't need that.
All that stuff. So I'm like, ooh. So it's hard to put in a chat GPT and just get a list of 50. So.
Yeah. You use Chat GPT to get you a list. What does it do? Like separate all that stuff out?
Yeah. Jesse from Brent Daniels TTP group. When I go to Wholesale Hotline, I go to his office first because he just knows so much about computers and I'm not good anymore. I say I'm not good anymore because I had a Commodore 64 back in the day. And, you know, now it's like, ChatGPT is almost like Commodore 64 trying to load something if you don't know anything.
Wow. Yeah, I use ChatGPT every single day. But I don't use it for probably, you know, everything it's cracked up to be. I use it to like write email, you know, follow-ups and, you know, stuff like that.
Well, like what he said to do is, because I was having a hard time, he goes, because you got to give it commands. And it's hard to do something with commands if you don't know what to put in, because it won't do what you want it to do. So what he told me to do is put in, you got to ask it, put into table format, and then it'll put columns. So that's one of the basic things that we'll probably use as investors and or wholesalers.
Right. I actually tried to use it today. I asked it to look up rental rates for a 3-bedroom, 2-bath in a specific zip code, and it couldn't do it.
Try God Mode. Godmode.space.
Really?
Yep.
God Mode will do it, you think?
Maybe.
I'll give it a try. I tried that God Mode, and I was probably doing it wrong.
Well, I'll be honest with you. I tried to use it to see how my son's been doing because I haven't been talking to my son. And I put in what has he been up to, and it gave me all kinds of lists of hotels that he's been getting at the weekends. I'm like, oh my God, what a young man. I'm like, oh.
You did what?
Yeah, I asked it what he's been up to. So I said, well, what can you locate my son's my first and last name, Dennis Sylvan or DeMonte Sylvan. and it just put in where there were transactions.
Oh, no, that just scares the hell out of me.
That's weird, but it was like Holiday Inn Express, Red Roof Inn. I'm like,
yeah, no, yeah, that's way too much information for me. Well, let's get back on track. You guys working on any deals?
You mean like ag, or trying to dispose some stuff from other wholesalers? Yeah, always.
All right, so you got a live deal you want to talk about?
Well, today was my blaster day, so basically all I did was just talk to agents. Heidi's been handling the wholesaler stuff, and there's like a couple of them, but I don't know what the details are.
Are you just doing manual dials, or how you calling people?
No, through the CRM. The Astro Blaster. Basically, we've got 4 markets. Well, technically multiple markets. Arizona, Nevada, Las Vegas, Nevada, and Florida. And there's Tampa Bay, Jacksonville, Miami, and whatever other areas those agents cover. Like, for example, Tampa Bay is also the Fort Myers, Cape Coral area. Jacksonville, the Fort Lauderdale's, Miami as well. So yeah. So basically, it's the whole friggin' state.
Gotcha. But I mean,
and everything initially we were doing text outreach through the CRM via text, but it got to the point where most of the agents are frustrated. You know how many texts like this I get a day? Yeah. Like, nah, not really, because I don't know how many Astro students are in Tampa. I don't say that, but that's what I'm thinking. Anyway, but then I kind of have to sue them and say, well, yeah, I apologize, but here's what we do. And our initial text is actually, we tell them flat hustlers. That way there's no deception, no BS about investors and whatever. And we tell them about our investor partners, and / buyers. But we've changed the model. We're no longer responding via text. We're calling them. If they respond, we call.
And that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
How are you actually dialing it?
Oh, through the CRM. It's copy and paste, and then you make sure you just got to make sure you hit the right phone number for the area, because odds are, if it's a Tampa or a Miami number that I'm calling, they're not going to pick up because it's a 602 in Phoenix. So, I mean, they might, but why risk it?
Astro Blaster has a calling feature?
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
I haven't used it in a couple of months, but is that something that's new?
No, it started out with that.
Huh. All right. I never used it then.
What they've not done is so when you buy Astro Blaster, it's one market, and then if you want to put on another market, it's an additional however much you paid for it, and unless you know how to go high level, if you know how to install numbers and lists and go high level thing, it's the same thing, because Astro Blaster is just a white label from go high level.
The reason I was asking you about that is because do you guys follow Nate Harris in Astro Elite?
Oh, Nathan Harris? Yeah, we had dinner with him yesterday.
Oh, did you really?
Yeah, Mastermind was yesterday, and a bunch of them were here. Nathan, Ethan, all the funds. No, I'm kidding. Nathan, Ethan, Helena, Mahmood, Andy was here as well. He presented as well. And then a bunch of newer people.
I have gotten to know Nate over the last 2 or 3 weeks. And I saw him post that since March 1st, he has made 50,000 dials.
Yeah, we went over that on Saturday night. And it turns out that his machine is the one doing it, and he's counting it as his, and that's not that. He himself is not actually dialing.
No, and that's what he's using a dialer.
Yeah.
And that's what I was talking about is to be more, because when I saw that post, I said, is a dialer critical to your success? And he's like, yeah, it's vital. So what I did is I reached out to him when he gets home from Arizona, right? That's where you guys were, Arizona?
Yeah. Tempe.
Means he's probably traveling today, but when
he's going to be at the wholesale hotline.
Oh, tonight?
Which is where we're going to be as well. So yeah.
All right, cool. Well, tell him I said hi. But when he gets back to Toronto, because I texted him over the weekend. I said, hey, listen, can I interview you? And he's like, yeah, I'd love to.
So I don't know how the dialer is vital to him, because I don't see how dialing multiple numbers at the same time. Because if they all three pick up, which one do you go to?
Have you ever used a dialer? Like I use when I'm doing agent outreach, I use batch dialer. And what it is if what it'll do is it'll pick out three numbers. It'll dial all at the same time. The first one to pick up, it connects it to you and it hangs up on the other two.
Oh, okay.
And then you talk and talk and talk, and then when you're done, you put in your notes, you hit go, and it dials three more numbers. First one to pick up, it connects it to you and then hangs up on the other two.
Well, he was showing us the numbers and the designations, because he has color coded for no response, and yeah, the vast majority of his calls are no response.
And I can just tell you that just from when I'm calling agents, I got 3 foreclosures up in Jacksonville today, and the agents didn't pick up. They even responded to text. And I said, hey, when you got 5 minutes to talk about your listing, didn't even bother to respond to my text.
Wow.
Yeah. But
well, you've been doing this for a while. So if a house is listed on Zillow that doesn't have an agent attached to it, and let's say PropStream, because I don't use Privy, because Privy literally sucks in Arizona. They use third-party data, and it's always behind. PropStream is behind as well, but it's far better and more thorough, I think. Maybe for comping, Privy's better, but everything else, no, I'll stick with PropStream. But anyway, so let's say, for example, you have a pre-foreclosure listed on Zillow, doesn't have an agent name, and for whatever reason the owner is not picking up the phone or responding to text or emails or whatever, after skip tracing them. Can you go to the trustee and make an offer?
What do you mean the trustee?
Yeah, because it's a notice of foreclosure from the trustee. So
all right. So what you're talking about, all right. So maybe it's different in Arizona, but here in Florida, that would be the attorney that files the lis pendens, right?
Okay, so you guys do file lis pendens, because that threw me, because one of Nate's deals has a lis pendens on it, and it's a pre-foreclosure, and I'm like, I have never heard of a trustee filing a lis pendens on a property. But there again, I've not ever dealt with a pre-foreclosure in Florida, so that was new to me, and it threw me.
See, and that's the thing. I just want to be clear on the terminology. I can speak to Florida, is that the attorney obviously is filing for whoever is the mortgage holder, and that person doesn't have control of the property. So you can talk to them, but they're not going to have any information either.
Well, see, and that's where, like here in Arizona, the trustee is, like, say, for example, we'll take Nate's pre-foreclosure.
Is that the one down in Port Charlotte he was talking about?
Yeah, that one. Yeah, with a 3-day option over the weekend. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me?
I was bummed he didn't friggin' text me like, hey, Grady, you want to run down to Port Charlotte? I'll give you $500. I'd have done it in a heartbeat.
Well, so anyway, Yeah, whatchamacallit. So it's a reverse mortgage, but those things are a pain in the ass. It's also listed as a short sale, but according to the agent, it's not a short sale. But I'm like, well, why would it say it is? But whatever, because they're selling it for like $150,000 less than what's owed on the mortgage, and I'm like, how is that not a short sale? You know, and then the list pendants thing, and I'm like, you know what? I would just run away from this. Because if that were here in Arizona, I would like say, screw that noise.
First off, let me just say, Liz Pendants is just the name of the document that starts the foreclosure process.
Right. Well, okay. It's a little contrary to what I read, but Yeah.
That being said, everybody I've ever heard talk about reverse mortgage companies is like, yeah, you can never get a deal out of that.
No, that's not true. Heidi actually closed a deal last year with a reverse mortgage.
Really?
They agreed to they agreed to a lower payment, but it was time sensitive, and the initial deal, because it fell out of contract because the agent fucked it up because she lied, and so when it came back on market, Heidi actually was the one to put in a lowball offer to pave the way for a higher offer from another sub-2 student. But the agent took the lowball offer, so it's like, okay, whatever, and then it closed. So, yay.
Was this recently?
No, well, it was last year, but Heidi could give you more details on it.
I was going to say, maybe if it was recently, maybe, these financing companies are starting to realize the market's turned.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, she's around here somewhere.
But as a rule, whenever I see reverse mortgage, I'm like, yeah, delete.
Right.
Just because.
Yeah, ordinarily.
Just because anything that's in foreclosure, pre-foreclosure, that's prime for getting a sub-2 deal.
Right.
But reverse mortgage companies are never going to do it.
Right, and that's the thing. It's not a sub-2. You can't ever do a sub-2 with a reverse mortgage, because usually if it's a reverse mortgage, the people who took out the mortgage were already elderly anyway, and somebody died. Yeah. If they're trying to collect, someone died, and it's usually a probate situation. So yeah, that's out. So it's got to be a full cash deal.
Yeah, and for anybody that's never done a probate deal, you have to have the patience of Job when it comes to probate.
Oh yeah, big time. Because yours might not be the only offer there either. So, and the judge has to decide which one is the better offer.
Well, I actually have a property that I should have collected a $29,000 assignment fee last August, except the probate attorney didn't know how to handle an heir that was on the land, not even on the building. So we had to fire her, and then it took us about 3 months to actually find an attorney who would actually take the case. And we finally found a guy, and we're now working through that process. But yeah, it's a $10,000 assignment fee. I'm like, man, that sucks.
Yeah, Nathan was also. I'm sorry.
By the way, what I did on that though is obviously my contract is going to expire after 30 days because we couldn't close. I mean, my buyer was all set to go and everything. So what I did is I did a contract extension, and every 30 days I get a 1% reduction in my offer price.
Wow.
And it's a 12-month extension.
Wow. Nice.
And the seller didn't care because, she wants to get rid of it. That's one of the nice things about probate is the majority of the people that are responsible for the property don't want it. So
that's the majority. Yeah. I had one last year there. She's like, well, screw it. If I can't get what I want, I'm just going to live in it. I'm like, knock yourself out.
Yeah, that's about 10 or 15% of the people. I've had a lot of those too, but yeah, the majority, especially here in Florida, and probably Arizona is the same way because it's a lot of retireds, is that when the kids inherit it, they're like, man, I got my own house. I don't need another one.
Right. unless they're druggies.
Yeah. And the other nice thing about probate cases is, you know, nobody really cares about screwing up the dead person's credit.
Right.
So again, those pre-foreclosures and probates, I get a lot of sub-2 deals.
Right. Okay, I'm sorry, man. I'm distracting you from the lesson plan. I'm sorry.
Well, really what I want to do is just want to listen to what other people's problems are, you know, getting deals. But I think, you know, like I said, time management's a big thing for me. And when I'm doing agent outreach and I want to make a lot of phone calls, go over volume, that's when I use a dialer.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For example, I'm actively, like I told you guys, my strategy has been wholesale single family houses. Unless I can get it under sub-2, then I'll do a pad split exit and hold on. But what I'm doing is I'm buying an income stream. And
right.
then with coin operated laundries, you know, like I've said, you know, the whole world can fall apart financially. People will still wash their clothes. So I went out and to a list broker, bought a list of 677 coin operated laundries in a lot of the southeastern states. Now I've got 677 owners I got to call. So that's the perfect list to go into to batch dialer to just, you know, let it make phone calls. And then when it picks up, it dumps the other two, and then I'm talking. It just gets me to talk to more and more people because 677 phone calls is a lot of phone calls.
Right. Okay, I'm gonna turn off my mic so as to let other people have a chance.
You're fine.
Sorry about that, guys.
Fine.
Anybody else? Who's got issues?
I always have issues.
All right.
I was born in this life having issues.
Who's got getting deal issues?
Yeah.
Go ahead. Okay.
Adrian?
So I got a deal. I locked it up on Saturday. I think it's well, I thought I got my ARV. It was a model match in the same area, same subdivision. It's a street up. The only difference is that the property that I locked in was 252 square foot, bigger than the one that sold. Now, the one that sold 8 days ago or 10 days ago today, and it sold for $867,000. The property was listed on market for $624, 25-ish. So when I did my comp, I assumed you just take price per square foot, add 252, and then it would be around 930 as far as my ARV. Okay, most of the properties over there, and it's in Anthem out here, which is a high value area. Most of the properties though in that area are selling for like 630, no matter the square footage or the size. Now the property, and this is another thing, the property itself that sold for 867, it's 3,000 square foot larger on the lot size, and it has a pool, a nice pool in the back area. My property doesn't. So I didn't really think that made a difference, you know, if you just do the normal appraisal rules. But from the feedback that I'm getting from the buyers, is my property is no more worth $700,000, even though it's the exact same model match. It's bigger than the one that sold, so it's kind of I'm getting ready to cancel it, to be honest with you, because I don't think where I bought it at was a little bit too high. So
you mind if I ask you what? You mind if I ask you what city it is in?
Yeah, it's in on market. It's listed in Phoenix, but it's in New River, but it's Anthem.
So it's technically real quick. I'm sorry. It's North Phoenix, extreme North Phoenix. It's high end area. By high end, I mean quality homes, but they're not like Scottsdale.
Yeah. Adrian, do you know what the median home value is for New River, Arizona?
No.
Median home value is $680,588.
Yeah, I'm learning that.
And the thing about it, here's the deal. The thing about it is, in a down market, the people that are going to hurt the most are the people between 500,000 and 1.5 million. If your house has cost more than 1.5 million, you're not getting a loan. You're writing a check.
Right.
What ends up happening is when you're in that 500 to 1.5 million, when the interest rates go from 3% to 7%, well, at 3%, a $700,000 house, $750,000 house is probably somewhere around $2,100, $2,400 a month in just mortgage.
Right.
At 7%, it's now $3,500, $3,600.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what ends up happening is all the buyers that we had for the last several years between 500 and 1.5 million are now moving down because they can't afford as much house.
Okay. Yeah,
So
that's what stopped me. And go ahead.
what that does, that puts a lot of downward pressure on your ARVs.
Yeah, and that's what it was, an outlier. And but when I locked it up, I felt so good about it because I was like, well, this just sold 8 days ago, so this should be actually the new medium. I mean, not the new medium, but the new value of the home. And it kind of tricked me into locking it in.
Yeah. What I always do when I'm looking at a market is I always find out what the median is, and then I stay below the median.
Okay.
And again, that's until the market stops dropping.
Can I jump in for a second? And since you're in my market, Adrian, let me forewarn you. Whenever you have a pool, it's automatic $25,000 up or down. If your subject does not have a pool, and the comp does, it's automatic $25,000 off.
In Arizona?
Yeah.
In Arizona. Yeah, I was kind of thinking that, Pete. So when I did my ARV, I kind of took that into account just because it is a higher value actual as far as the value of the home. But I still assume, but what I found out today was every house in that section all has pools except for mine. So I think that really hurt it too.
Oh yeah, big time.
Yeah, so I'm learning. It's a struggle, and I hate to cancel on these realtors because they really want to sell this, but it doesn't look like I'm going to be able to get a good deal on this.
So real quick, if I can point something out to you, then, and don't take it the wrong way. I'm not calling you out, but you said that you did a price per square foot comparison to the smaller home, correct?
Yes. Yeah.
You never ever do that. You take the larger home, larger than your subject, and that's when you apply the price per square foot, and that's only if you don't have a model match. And the reason for that is because a small home will always sell for more dollars.
It will, even if it is a model match, you said? Pete, you went dark on me.
We lose Pete?
Oh, I'm here.
Okay.
But I didn't hear what he said.
Yeah, I said even if it, because it was a model match. That's why I assumed it just went straight price per square foot. Everything to a T.
Except for the pool.
Except
and the larger
the
lot.
Pool. Yeah. And I assumed that the lot was bigger because of the pool.
Nah, you can't assume anything. You have to look for it. Because if the lot is bigger, depending on how much, but if it were like, say, a 2,500 foot larger lot here in Arizona, that's a $10,000 deduction right off the bat. Okay. If it's only a few hundred feet, no big deal.
Okay.
Let me ask you, how come on Jamil's rules for appraisal, pools, he adjusts them at $10,000? Why is it so much more expensive in Arizona?
There's no way you're paying $10,000 for a friggin' pool. so we adjust 25 to be more realistic. Okay. And I understand Jamil's trying to simplify it for everybody. Okay. But it doesn't always work. Example, a pool in Florida, the way the snap flip, i.e. Helena Mahmood and John Kalan, what they do is they deduct 30,000. Okay. And in Florida, if it's block versus frame, it's a 20% variance one way or the other. I mean, that's huge, you know. But that's Arizona. I mean, that's Florida. Out here, it's 25 for a pool, and that's, oh, how can I put it? it makes more sense to the buyer because it costs about $60,000 to have a pool dug and then installed, depending on the pool. Because if it's a fiberglass pool, it's going to be a little cheaper. But if it's a night pool, yeah, you're easily looking at 40 to 60,000.
Yeah, I mean, everybody knows that other than windows, pools do not increase the value of your house.
No, they don't.
Yeah.
Solar.
It's like
the other
replacing
thing.
windows. You can
Solar does
replace
not.
windows, and that doesn't increase the value of the house.
And Pete, the both
Yeah.
houses had solars on them. That's why I assumed it was down to
Oh,
a T,
dude.
not to validate my point.
Now
But,
you
yeah.
now you need to figure out if it's owned or leased. Because if
It's
it's leased, walk away. Okay,
No,
owned is
it's
good.
owned.
Owned is
Yeah.
good, but yeah, but if it's leased, man, just walk away.
Yeah, it's owned. Yeah, it was a struggle. It kind of threw me off, but it's a learning lesson.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I
again,
appreciate it,
I'm
though.
taking over. I apologize.
No, you're good. You're good, Pete. Appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Dennis, you got something?
Yeah, I have a question now because you brought that up. I was always under the assumption if it's a pool was 10,000. Now, are you? Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay. Now I'm wondering if is it over 500 that is 25,000 or is it doesn't matter?
It doesn't matter. Pools are pools. 25.
Wow, I've never
You're
heard that.
talking about ARV or purchase price, right? If you're talking about $500 or a $500 sum, 500K, whatever, it does not matter because it's 25 across the board, up or down, depending if your subject has a pool and your comp does not. You tack on an additional 25,000 value add. If your subject does not have a pool and your comp does, it's $25,000 deduction from the ARV.
Oh wow, I've been doing it all wrong then because I was always doing 10,000. I was
Well,
always doing 10,000.
Again, that's what Jamil teaches, but you need to know your market. So you understand this is Jamil putting it out for the country, okay? But not every market's the same, and he'll tell you that. Like for example, go to Indiana. When are you going to see a house in Indiana with a pool? Unless it's a luxury home, right? Yeah, it's like it's just not going to happen. But if it's a luxury home, how much is it really worth with that pool? Just saying.
Yeah, I think in the case of northern states, it's going to be an above ground pool, which is very different than an in-ground pool.
Yeah, that has zero value whatsoever.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah, just because they freeze in the wintertime.
Right. Yeah,
Don't
the
get a lot
above
of
ground at
freezing
least has
pools
a
in
room to
Arizona and Florida.
expand. Right. And there's the other thing about Florida. Found out the hard way the other day. Pools can pop out of friggin' Florida if they're empty. There's no water to hold them down. I did not know that.
Yes.
I was like, what? What do you?
That's a thing. If you drain the pool, and you don't take the plug out, yeah, within like 2 weeks, it boink come flying. It'll come out. Yeah, then you're rebuild the pool.
Yeah, right.
Oh yeah, the whole state's like 15 feet above the water level, and that's where I live. I mean, you get out towards the ocean, you're a foot above the water level, the water table. So what else? Anybody got any other good? Oh, Alexis has got something. There we go.
Hey, what's up, Michael?
How you doing?
Good, you?
Good. Having fun talking real estate.
Yeah, man. It's always fun to talk real estate. What's it called? I got your email. I think it was last week. And are you doing dispo in Texas?
Am I doing dispo in Texas?
Yeah.
No. What email are you talking? Which email?
Shoot. It was actually Dallas specified. Let me see if I can find it real quick.
Are you
Oh yeah,
driving?
it was hold on.
Are you
It was,
driving? Are you driving truck, bro?
I can tell you what it
Yeah,
was because I'm market. It was an email that just told what Michael is purchasing in Texas and what his buy box is.
Right.
Oh, so you're buying them?
Yeah. What I would need to buy it at?
Okay. So because I came across a wholesaler and he has a rent ready property. It's been like renovated and it's in Dallas. It's in Dallas. And I wanted to see if that's something to buy.
Got it. Boom, boom, boom.
Yeah, because I don't want to lock it up, because since it's rent ready, I don't want to lock it up and then I just like flake on the guy.
All right, hang on a second. Give me a second. There it is.
Yeah.
All right, so we're talking about Dallas, Texas, right? Right. We're talking about Dallas.
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can now. You say it's rent ready?
Yeah, it's been renovated. Paint, flooring. I forgot what else the notes said. I believe maybe HVAC as well. So it's a pretty good house, and and I think it's below that price that you put on there that you're.
That's exactly where I was going. The average rent rate in Dallas is $1,786 a month. So basically using the 1% rule, that means we'd have to get the property at 178 or lower. Either that or it won't cash flow.
Gotcha. Okay. I think this one rents go for $1,500 a month in that area.
All right. So using
So you would
using the 1% rule, you'd need to be at what?
150.
Yeah.
150. Got you. So if I'm able to lock it up at that price, I'll present it to you since you're the only buy and hold.
Yeah.
Well, may I interrupt? I'm sorry, because I think you misunderstood. That's what you need it at. He needs to lock it up lower than 150, correct?
If you want to wholesale, yeah.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. I mean, as long as I can get you to where I can get a fee, as long as I get it at 150 or below. Yeah. I understand that. Yeah.
Now let me ask you about the property. What kind of neighborhood is it in? A neighborhood, B neighborhood, C neighborhood, or war zone?
That's a good question.
All right. Here we go. C neighborhood is a blue collar neighborhood that you would let your wife or girlfriend drive through at nighttime. B neighborhood is going to be a nice neighborhood with an HOA, and then an A neighborhood is going to be a gated community.
Oh, okay. This one's about C.
Okay.
C neighborhood.
Okay. Yeah, because that if it's in a C neighborhood, which means blue collar, that kind of thing, we can get that property. We can purchase that property and then do a pad split exit on it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Yeah. All right then. Yeah, I'll get it locked up. I think it'll work at that price range that you need it at.
Yeah. Yeah, that could
I'll
work.
shoot your what's best. Should I get with you? Should I get with you through email or
Email, text me, whatever. Yeah, whatever you need.
awesome?
Pretty sure-
Can I
pretty
get
sure
your
everybody's
number?
got
'Cause
my
actually, I
email.
don't think I have your phone number.
What's that?
Can I get your phone number?
863 225 3575.
Awesome.
And if
All
anybody's
right.
got any,
Appreciate it.
and it goes for everybody, if anybody's got any questions or whatever, or just wants to bounce stuff off me, or they want to, dispose something, let me know.
Hey, Michael, I have another question because I'm on the works of locking up sub 2. That's a pre-foreclosure. I'm walking this property tomorrow, but it's a 2-1, 2-bedroom, 1 bath. So I know you said that you're buying everything subject to. Would that be something that might interest you as well? It's over here in Texas.
Absolutely. How many square feet?
Man, that one's small. That one, I believe it barely reaches 1,000 square feet.
Yeah. Does it have a carport?
Yes. Wait. No, it does not.
Oh, no carport. All right. Yeah, I mean, obviously, we don't need to go over all the details unless you want to, but when you're taking over the mortgage sub 2, what's the rate on it?
I'm actually waiting on. Actually, I was gonna call the agent after I get off this call because she was gonna get me the mortgage statement and the reinstatement balance or whatever is owed because obviously it's a pre-foreclosure, so the seller is behind on payments. So she was gonna get me everything all at once, and but I believe it might be in the 3s, I believe, if I'm not mistaken.
And the payments in the 3s?
The interest rate on it?
Oh, interest rates in the 3s. Yeah, all right.
3%.
But again, that's the kind of deal that you guys got to be looking for, because like I said, 3% mortgages, we will not see this again in our lifetime. The mortgage is worth more than the property. As crazy as that sounds. I mean, on a 2-bedroom, 1-bath, what do you guys think a 2-bedroom, 1-bath would be worth in the Dallas area, in a blue-collar neighborhood?
They're going, depending on what area you in, you're looking at, I've seen high 2s, low 3s.
For a 2-bedroom, a 1-bath, 1,000 square feet?
The highest one?
Less than 2.
Right.
Yeah, less than 2, less than 200 high ones.
Cool. And the reason I say this is because once you get into a motivated seller like that, you can do all kinds of things to delay giving them the equity in the property, or like the one I structured today, put a large chunk of the seller's equity in, we'll eventually pay it off when we either refi the house or sell it or whatever, but basically you're going to get $100 payment a month.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
So that's what I'm saying is if you try to go out and buy these houses at 7%, it's never going to cash flow. And then the nice thing about pad split, and you got to take a look at, the structure of the house, but you might be able to add, believe it or not, 1 or 2 bedrooms to that house. So you can take it from a 2-1 to maybe even a 4-1.
Oh.
And each one of those rooms will rent for $200 a week.
You know what to do, because my plan is, of course, to wholesale the deal, so that's why I brought it up to you.
Yeah.
And I'm working with a sub 2 student. So once it's ready, once we have all the numbers and everything, then I'll shoot you over all the info.
Yeah, call me on the phone, man. We'll walk through it.
All right, but but I saved your number, so I'll call you.
The other thing, before you actually make an offer, you're working with a sub 2 student, so they pretty much know that bottom line is, and I just discovered this, Pete turned me on to it. The most money you should put, the most cash you should put into a deal is 10% of the ARV for a sub 2 deal. So as you're struggling, and obviously
the guy that I'm with,
that person knows that.
Yeah, he knows. We've worked on a few together, so he's pretty good, man. Pretty good with those numbers. I'm pretty sure you'll like whatever we come up with.
Cool, I love it. As long as I can,
but yeah, I'll call you up, Mike.
Yeah, call me on the phone. Good talking to you. All right, Christine's got her hand up.
Hey, Mike. So with your buy box for Dallas, you did mention like the square footage being at 1,100. I've come across a few that were like at 960, 980. But the lot size was probably like 7, 8 on up. Would that still be an interest for you if you have the lot size to add on, or you definitely need the square footage to be at 11?
Actually, to tell you the truth, I just haven't got back to updating that market yet. I'm actually taking that restriction out.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. The minimum 1,100 square feet was by my hedge fund, but that hedge fund is now buying where everybody else is buying at 50%. So now I'm taking that 1,100 square feet out because I'm not using them as hardly at all anymore, because every time I send a deal over to them, it comes back at a ridiculously low number.
Okay, so we still, for the Dallas market, is it 75% of ARV, or are we going?
No, it's the hedge funds are now where private buyers are. You got to be locking. They're buying it at 50 cents on the dollar. You got to get it at 40.
Okay.
Now, that being said, everybody in the world argues with me like, oh, get realtors going, oh, no, I got buyers at 60 cents on the dollar. And I haven't seen an offer above 50. And all the deals that I've had turned down at higher numbers, everybody's coming back at 55%.
Okay.
So I'm just like, shoot at 40. And my philosophy has always been, when I'm making offers, if they accept it right away, I left money on the table. I always go for no.
Okay.
So go for, especially on a rehab, go for no. And then you can always go up. You can never negotiate down.
Okay. So start at 40%.
Yep.
Okay.
And again, this is a rehab. This is something that's going to be probably a little bit more than lipstick.
Okay. So I still do 40% of ARV and minus the rehab costs, or since I'm going
don't worry about the rehab costs. Just going at 40%.
Okay, great. Okay. Perfect.
At 40%, you've got a lot of room in there.
Okay, yeah.
And the thing is, when you start thinking about deducting what you would rehab it for, a professional rehabber, somebody who does it all the time, they've got contractors that can do it half the time. They go in and they buy bulk of everything, and they can do it faster and cheaper than. So if you're thinking that your rehab cost is here, theirs might be down here. And so you might not want to do a deal because your numbers are higher than what a professional that does it every single day is going to do.
Got it.
So it's easier just to go get it as low as possible and then let them figure it out.
Okay, so I wouldn't really need to calculate the rehab cost per square footage, just the 40% of ARV, that's good enough.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And again, you got.
Can I chime in real quick?
Sure.
Okay, so not contradicting anybody, but the way I figured it out was, if I'm going to start calculating rehab, I might as well start calculating holding costs, profit. So it's one model or the other. You combine the two.
Yeah, I would agree with Pete. Yeah, you just do it one way or the other. Don't try to do it both ways. I'd agree with that.
I think that's where because I haven't had a deal yet. And so someone told me that the Dallas market is at 75% minus rehab. Of ARV minus rehab.
Right.
And so when I was putting in that offer, they were like, no, 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 no. I've gotten close and someone outbidded me a couple of times, but that's where I've been stuck. So I'm like, where is the market? Because I see that there's buyers that are actually buying at full price on some of these that the numbers are not even adding up to be at that full price.
I was talking to Nate Harris about a deal that he just did. And I looked at it. I mean, this was a full gut rehab, and he had got it at like 60% of ARV. And he had a newer small hedge fund bought it at 65%. And we were both talking about, he's like, yeah, man, I lucked out on that one. I mean, you're going to find buyers out there that are buying at the higher numbers, but the vast majority of the people that do this all the time and are, going in and rehabbing and flipping, given this market, they're hovering right around 50% of ARV.
Okay.
I'm just telling you from all the deals I've had turned down in the last 2 months.
Okay. All right. So back to the
I was working a week and a half ago. I was working on a couple a burnout up in Chicago, and everybody was coming in at that number. Every one of the rehabbers I was talking to was coming in at that number.
So even if my numbers, like if once I go back and do the 40%, even if my number is pretty low, I should still put a verbal offer in, or just say this is not going to work for me.
All right. So you're saying your number needs to be at. All right. So let's say it's $100,000 house. You're going to offer $40,000 on it, right?
Right.
I wouldn't even do the verbal. What I would do, and this is just my experience, is I actually write up on my own contract. Don't use the realtor's contract. I've been writing up on my own contract and send your contract over.
Okay.
A lot of people would agree with me, and I'm going to say it publicly. Realtors want to take the path of least resistance. And if they've got to fill out a contract off of a verbal offer, or if you send over a letter of intent, if they got to do extra work, they're going to be like, I don't feel like it. So what I've been doing is just filling out my contract and sending it over. And I don't get any pushback at all.
Okay.
Now, the other thing, and again, I guess Nate's just on my mind. And he actually kind of changed the way I do things now. Instead of filling out the contract and emailing it, I actually put it into Right Signature, which is electronic signing, and send it that way. That way, all the seller's got to do is just sign it.
It's called Right Signature?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it's like any Right Signature. Citrix is
we use Panda Docs.
There you go. But what I've been, and again, this is just talking to other wholesalers and subject to people, is, you want to make it as easy as possible for the realtor to sign a deal.
Okay.
If they've got to write up a contract, I mean, think about it. We were talking about it earlier. I mean, I called up a realtor who had got 2 pre-foreclosure deals, and she didn't even bother to call me back. She texted me, but she didn't even bother to call me when I said, you got 5 minutes to talk about these listings. So again, you got to get in. It's kind of like human behavior. You got to get in their head and just make their life as easy as possible.
Got it. Thank you, Mike.
Sure.
Thank you.
And we actually do.
Panda Docs is also a free doc kind of thing, like what you were talking about.
Yeah.
The electronic documentation and signatures. Yeah. So they have a pay for version, but the free one is more than sufficient.
Cool. And what was that again?
Yes.
Panda Docs.
Panda Docs. All right.
Yeah, just like the bear, panda, and then doc.
Like that's just
Is that .com?
No, if you Google it, it'll pop right up.
All right, cool. I didn't even know about that one, but there you go.
Yeah, it's a good one. We use that all the time.
Hey, Christine Shields. Can you hear me?
Yeah, you just answered my question.
Oh, it was you. Sorry. Oh, put your dang hand down.
I got a question.
Go ahead.
So I'm going to be probably driving in a minute after, so I can go to Brett Daniels' thing. But is anybody having any problems talking to agents and having any conflict when they are proposing their offer? That goes for anybody.
Run that by me again.
Is anybody in here having any issues with talking to people while, presenting their offer to agents or sellers?
What kind of trouble?
Well,
I know, right? That's what I told her. I was like, yay, me.
Well,
basically negativity, rejection. I think that's what he's talking about.
Yes.
And that's actually par for the course, because you got to understand, Dennis, there's a lot of agents out there, a lot of newbies, and they're taught one way. And Mike can tell you, I mean, but just from my personal experience, it's also I not to saying I'm calling you out or anything, but it's also the energy that you bring to the conversation. Okay, so, and the last thing they want to hear, even though you may know more than they do, quite frankly, you can't tell them where they're. And I'm not saying you do. I'm just telling you, it's like you can't point things out, because they'll take offense to it. I'm the professional one. I'm the licensed one. I had a lady on the phone today that she's like, well, I don't know why a seller would not rather go with an educated, licensed individual. I was like, there's plenty of reasons why. But anyway, I'm sorry, Mike.
What he's talking about is the vast majority, and I'm talking 99% of realtors are taught, and this comes from somebody who used to have a broker's license. Get the listing, show up a closing, collect a check. That's it. Get the listing, show up a closing, collect a check, repeat. And they think that the only way to finance them is through a bank. All right. So right off the bat, you're bringing something to the table they're not used to. And I'll give you an example. I called up a property that the public information showed that it was in foreclosure. I called up the listing agent, and he's like, "Why are you calling me?" I'm like, "I want to buy the house." And he was like real short with me. And this was a house that has been fully rehabbed. It looks like it's a rehab where the rehabber couldn't sell it. So when he or she ran out of money, it went into foreclosure. The realtor came in and must have it under contract or something, because he says he owns it, but it's not showing up on public record. But he basically hung up the phone on me, because I asked him if it was in foreclosure. He's like, "It's not in foreclosure." And I'm like, public information says it is. So I think what Pete was saying is, you're just going to get some rude realtors. You're just going to get some people having a bad day.
No, I wasn't asking like that. I was just asking in general, like, is this would probably be a teaching lesson right now. Like, for instance, when I go off of talking to an agent, and it's usually agents that I call, I don't usually call sellers. I'll say, well, hi, Mr. Grady. I got your number, and I was wanting to make an offer on the property you're representing. And they'll say something like, well, okay. And I will ask them, well, can you tell me a little bit about it before I make you my offer? And they'll say, well, it has this and this and this. And I'll go, okay. How old's the roof? How old's the plumbing? Has it been changed, remodeled? And then I will ask, well, based off the comp that I have, because I'm trying to be transparent with you, I'll be at this price, and I'll shut up. and then they'll either say yes or no and this and that, and we'll get back to you, and then I'll ask for their email address if I can send my bid over, to be legit.
What I would say is, and there's this phenomenon that sellers will have a knee-jerk reaction to say no. And if you just put in a verbal offer, you're probably going to get it rejected just because people are doing that knee-jerk thing. Kind of like, I forgot who I was talking to. I'm like, instead of doing the verbal offer, write up the contract, send it over. Don't tell them what your number is. Just like, I'm gonna make an offer on this property. Write it up, send it to them, and then call and follow up. Because for some reason, I don't know why it is, but when somebody has something physical in their hands, it's more credibility.
Oh, okay.
So what I say,
Plus, they're also obligated to show the seller the contract by law. If you give them a verbal, they can just say nah, and it never happened.
Yeah, I was told by some of the Zoom calls that I needed to talk to them first before I send them a paper. So I just been following what my last order is.
well,
So now
let me suggest this to you. Take equal number of phone calls to realtors. Let's say you're going to make 20 phone calls. 10 of them do a verbal offer. 10 of them don't tell them what you're going to offer. Put it on a contract and send it over to them and see which one works better.
Okay.
Kind of do your own split test.
Okay. I'm just going by what you guys are telling me because you guys have been doing this longer than me. I mean, I've been wanting to get into this longer than except you, Mike, but yeah. Okay.
Yeah, trust me, man. You do not want to learn the way I did.
I'm sorry, Dennis. I could have sworn we talked about that a while back. But if I didn't convey that to you, I'm sorry about that.
No, it wasn't you. It was Jamil. Jamil said, on a Zoom call when I was talking to him, he goes, stop just sending your offers. You cannot do that. He says, you need to talk to them first because they're not going to feel comfortable with you. I said, okay. So I started asking them.
Okay, that's two different things. That's
big thing.
So I think what you were doing is you were finding properties and just sending over offers, right?
I was back in this November, December, January.
So what Jamil said is don't do that. Talk to them and then make the offer. What you're doing is you're combining talking to them and making the offer. And I've actually heard Jamil say this. Talk to them, get off the phone, say, listen, I'm going to run some numbers. Even if you get off the phone for 20 minutes, it adds credibility. Even if you call them back and just make a verbal. What I'm saying is, hey, listen, I'm going to run some numbers. I'm going to make you an offer. Then what I'm saying is make it as easy as possible for the realtor. Put it on your own contract, send it over to them. And like with the one that I did today up in Jacksonville, I texted the guy and said, listen, I just emailed you over a full price offer. So he texted me back, or he called me back. He's like, he was driving and he said, as soon as I get to the office, we'll look at it. I said, don't worry about it. We can talk about it tomorrow morning.
So let me get this straight. So since I comp at night and then submit during the morning, I should just call them and ask them for their email and then submit them the offer?
Call them, talk about all the stuff, all the information you got to get about the property, get their email get their email, then tell them I'm going to run my numbers and I'm going to put together an offer.
Okay.
So what you're getting off the phone, you're instead of combining the information gathering phase and the offer phase, you're separating them. Two different phone calls.
So I'm asking for the kiss twice too much then.
You're trying to cover too much ground. Yeah,
Okay.
exactly. Yeah,
Right. That makes sense.
you don't walk up to your lady and kiss her and then say, hey, you want to go out?
Hey, can I kiss you again? What are you doing?
This
isn't Tina Turner. You're not Ike.
Yeah. But I think what that'll do is that'll probably get a lot of the negativity out of your phone calls because you're giving yourself more stature by gathering information and then giving it some time to marinate.
Well, let me make it clear. I do talk to them, see how their day is and stuff like that. How's it been going? How's work been treating you? Blah,
Cut that shit out, man. You don't care. Don't try to make friends with them.
All right.
Now, sellers, different story. You're going direct to seller. Yeah, you want to build rapport. But when it comes to realtors, they're busy and they're transactional.
Okay, transactional. Okay.
Yeah.
All
Yeah,
right,
I will tell you, because I run a manufacturing business. I make, fishing products. When the phone rings and somebody's first thing out of the mouth is, "Hey, Mike, how you doing today?" I'm like, "Salesperson. Here's somebody trying to sell me something," and my brain turns off. Because amateur salespeople, that's what they do. "Hey, how you doing?" And when it comes to people that are transactional, like realtors, go in. "Hey, listen, I'm looking to buy this house. I need to get some information from you." Bang, 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 bang. Done. Thanks. What's your email? I'm going to take a look at some numbers and I'm going to send you over an offer. Bye.
Okay. Okay, so don't be pleasant then. Okay.
Yeah. Well, and be pleasant, but be direct and to the point.
Yeah. Okay.
Now, completely different strategy when you're talking to sellers. When you're talking to the actual owner, then you want to be charming and develop rapport and all that stuff.
Okay.
But realtors are transactional.
That makes more sense.
And just like you, realtors, they get off the phone with you. They're on the phone just like you are, trying to get listings.
All right. That makes sense.
And again, if you want to test it out, man, if you still want to go the route of, gathering information and then making a verbal offer, do that for 10 calls and then separate it. Get the information, get off the phone, put together your offer, mail it in, email it in, then call them back.
Okay.
And I can absolutely tell you, more than once, when I was going direct to seller, the seller would tell me no. I would fill out a contract and mail it to them anyway. You'd be surprised what happens when they got that piece of paper in the envelope and they can see that number, what they're going to get. They're like, "Let's just do this."
So fill out a buyer's assignment or seller's assignment. Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm saying no. You're skipping ahead. No, you got to get the contract first. Just fill out have a
email the bid
contract, make a copy, fill it out, email it.
Okay.
And what I do is I go the next step and I actually send it via right signature. So all they got to do is read it, click, all they got to do is click and it's signed.
So do you send a bid or do you send a contract?
I send a contract.
Okay.
And I send my contract. And guess what? My contract is heavily weighted to me.
Oh, okay. I've never done that. Okay.
Well, that also becomes, and I learned this when I was, doing a couple of deals up in Illinois. Illinois is a mutual release state. What that means is, if I back out of the contract during my inspection period, the seller can hold back the money. They can't keep it, but they can tell the title company not to give the money back until they sign. They can hold it. They can hold it up for a long time.
Well, I've been told to just send a bid offer through email. It's like a template, and that's how I've been doing it. But you're saying send a contract. That's totally different.
And again, a bid offer, then the realtor's got to stop what they're doing, fill out the contract, send it to you, blah, 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 blah. When you just take your contract and send it to them, that's 8 steps they don't have to do. Now, the other thing is, like I said, in a mutual release date, there's specific language that Pace actually has their gators. It's a separate piece of paper. What I did is I just took that language and made it a paragraph in my contract. So I don't have to have a separate piece of paper. Once they sign that contract, they've given up their right to hold back my EMD and the title. I've run it past my title company that I use, and they're like, "Yeah, that language is sufficient. It'd be better if it was a separate piece of paper, but you don't need it. It's sufficient." And I use it. That same language is in my contract for Florida, which is not or for Illinois, that's mutual release state, and any states that are not mutual release states.
Okay.
But what I'm saying is send over contracts, man, because it's more authentic.
Yeah, makes more sense. Learn something new every day. Thank you.
That's why we do this, man. Sharing ideas. I learn from you. You learn from me. That's how we do. Like I said, let's have a group of people that helps each other get deals.
Let's buy that gas station again.
Hey, Dennis, if you want, I can see your email there. I can send you a copy of Pace's contract that Gators used, and it has all the verbiage in there. He used his attorney to put this together. It cost him about $3,000 for this contract. And it has pretty much it's ironclad. Everything you need to make a purchase and sale is in this. The verbiage is in there. So I'll just email it to you.
Okay, yeah, because I've just been using Jamil's assignment.
And I love both. I'm in Astro, and but the Paces, it's in the purchase and sale. So it's in black and white right there. You don't need to go around. All you got to do is just check the little box.
Wow, I can't believe I've been messing it up that bad, but okay, that'll be great.
You're not messing it up. It was just something you needed to learn.
Yeah, that's fine. That's
my
fine. It's always a learning curve. I live in Florida.
My stepfather is one of the top 10 real estate auctioneers in America.
Oh, really?
Yeah. He actually set the world record for the most timeshare real estate sold in a single day. I was actually part of the auction. We did $23 million in about 6 hours. Yeah, if you've ever been to Steamboat Springs, Colorado, the Steamboat Grand, the gigantic hotel that was there, that's it's hotel and timeshare, but they were going bankrupt, and he got the contract on that and brought me in, just being family. But all those guys you see, remember those auction shows that were on TV? All those guys were there. Spanky Assiter, all. But what Dick will tell you is his contract evolved over 30 years of being in the business. Every time he screwed something up, that language went into his contract. So as the market changes, you just add the language into the contract.
Okay.
And obviously that's what Pace and Jamil do.
Well, thanks for telling me, both you guys. That'd be awesome. I mean, that would be really awesome. I appreciate it.
Yeah. And again, try that stuff, and if it doesn't work, make a change. Okay. Keep making changes. Keep bouncing my ideas off, our little group here, and together we'll figure it out.
Okay. And I'll try to get you guys the grant stuff that I was telling you about. I'm trying to find grants for investors, so I'll let you guys know as soon as it works. It's a pain in the butt, but I got to call legislation and stuff like that. So just give me a minute.
Here's the one thing I know about getting government grants. It's a pain in the ass. A lot of paperwork, takes forever. When they send you the check, cash it.
Yeah.
Cash it as quick as you can.
Yeah, as long as it says grant on it, not stimulus. I don't want no more stimulus. A grant.
Oh, I'll be the first one to tell you, man. For my fishing business, the government gave me $130,000 and didn't ask for it back.
That's awesome.
I don't know about that, man. That $3 trillion is what caused all the inflation. I'm like, but I'm kind of a hypocrite because I took it just like every other business owner.
Yeah, but as long as you don't take it and you have to send it back, that's the good thing. I mean, these little dinners that they have for $500 a plate, that's not free money. That's our money.
Yeah, but the thing about it is, I have gotten grants before, and yeah, it's a pain in the ass. But when they send you the check, cash it.
All right,
and cash it quick.
All right. Well, let me get to Paces and.
All right, see you guys. Anybody else got anything, or you guys? What else can I do to help? I really don't have anything to teach, and I don't really have any agenda. I just wanted to kind of put a mastermind group together. Like, hey, tell us your problems, and we'll figure out how to fix it.
Well, I appreciate that. I mean, I've always got questions and stuff like that. I got questions regarding. Next time I'll have questions regarding micro flipping and stuff like that. But today was good enough for me.
All right.
There'll be more people on there, so I'm gonna follow you guys on the road. So give me.
Well, good, because what I'm planning on doing is doing this like 6 o'clock on every Monday, just like, hey, bring your problems. Let's get together and fix them together. And this is for the folks that are struggling. This is for, because we talked about this, Dennis. This is for the people that wish they could get one-on-one. I'd be more than happy to just kind of like, show up and kind of give you my 2 cents and tell you what I'm doing and what's working for me and figure out what can work for you guys.
Yeah, Mike, can you hear me?
I can.
Okay, when did you start this? I just saw the email. I was on the other Zoom with Jamil, and then
we started at 6.
Huh?
We started at 6 p.m.
Okay, yeah, I was on the other Zoom, so sorry about that. But yeah,
I'll be perfectly honest with you. My Yankees are playing in Oakland tonight, so I've got until like 9 o'clock.
Okay, yeah. I have one, but it will be coming after I get the whole pictures. It's the interior pictures. That's one I will get to evaluate it. It's off market, but you'll get to know it. For now, I am waiting for the pictures. There's no way I can even evaluate it.
What's really cool about doing these Zooms is putting faces with voices. Pretty much, I think I've talked to everybody on the phone, but it's kind of cool getting to see people.
That's true.
So you're still doing the Vegas thing, right?
Yes, sir. I'm in Vegas.
All right.
Yeah. I'll be closing in Atlanta for some time later, but I want to focus there first and get to know the ins and outs of it. So I'll give it a couple of months.
What's your biggest challenge?
The biggest challenge was like the other gentleman, Dennis. I was like him, you remember first, I was giving them offers like apples all the time. I just write an offer once I talk to them, which was kind of like pissing them off because they want to have that kind of bidding style to make it a bidding war. So now when I talk to them, we just speak first and I get whatever I need to know. Like you said, I have to tell them I'll get back to you with my numbers.
Yeah.
Because if you throw them right there, they feel like an insult. So you give it time to marinate. And Dennis was talking about sending them early in the morning. No, they will bid on your offers. Give it some time. Send it them in the afternoon. Because if you put it fast, you're going to lose.
What you're doing by gathering information, telling them you're going to run your numbers, waiting a period of time, then sending it over a contract, you're elevating your status.
Right. Because they know now you have taken time to crunch the numbers. Also, you can come up with your, evidence of comps, and then at least they will listen. But if you just say this, they won't give you the comps themselves, and they'll be like, no, your offer is too low. Why? Because he's thinking of the number he has right there on the listing. And sometimes these properties are just new, like 5 days. So you have to take time to give in your offer.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they're expecting to get that very number with them, but it's subjective, It's
one of the things, and the information that I track, in the different markets is time on market.
Right.
And, if you can see that the average house stays on the market for 30, 40, 50 days,
right,
don't even bother calling them less than that.
It's priced high.
Yeah, that's right. Now, once it starts getting to be like a month, month and a half, 2 months, all of a sudden now that realtor's like, all right, I'm halfway through my listing agreement. I got to get this thing moved. Obviously, it's not selling because it's priced too high.
Right.
Yeah,
that's true.
Yeah, like you didn't hear this, but I was talking about some of the pre-foreclosure stuff I was doing today, but all of them, every one that I called was at least 80 days on market.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So they're almost over. Now they'll listen.
Yeah. Yeah, because the realtor's like sick of the property because, it's just not moving and they're moving on to something else.
True.
See, that's the thing in the data, and I different people that I follow is that because there's such low inventory,
Right.
That's why values are not dropping, is because inventory is super low. Well, the problem with super low inventory is there's not a lot of transactions happening.
Yeah.
A 3 weeks ago, I was talking to a broker in San Diego, and he said, he agreed with me. He said, yeah, he said, by the middle of next year, 60% of the licensees will have given up their licenses. And the reason why is, he said, and this, let's see, what's this? This is June. This was May. He actually said in San Diego County,
right,
2,000
agents.
No, 2,000 transactions, 2,000 houses sold.
Wow.
So what that means is there's 4,000 agents got paid, one on the seller side, one on the buyer side.
Okay.
That's assuming
Right.
that nobody did two. And we all know that 80% of realtors do 20%, or 20% of the realtors do 80% of the business.
Right.
But even if it was just 1 for 1,
Mm.
there's like 7,000 or 6,000 licensees just in San Diego County.
Oh my God.
So he's like, yeah, like 25 or 30% of agents got paid last month.
Yeah.
How many months can an agent go without getting paid before
True.
they got to go find another job?
Yep. Yep. Yep.
So that's why it's important to, when stuff is like been on the market for, a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, let that stuff sit for a while.
Like today, I called one agent and we really had a good chat, but he was kind of like pissed. And I could feel it the way he was talking. It was kind of like a sad tone. And I was trying to tell him exactly what I want. And he's like, yeah, I can put you on my list. I'm like, yeah, but if it's on the MLS, yeah, I babysit the MLS all day myself. So that's the reason I'm calling you, because you guys have that extra layer where you reach out to the seller, which I don't. All the things I look at and I buy on the MLS, but these days it's a little bit skewed. And he was like, no, I do that myself. And you can't do that. You can't do that if you don't have a license. I agreed with him just to get the conversation going, because he doesn't know what he doesn't know. And I was like, yeah, I understand. That's the reason I'm calling you. But then we ended up in a tie, because he was like, no, I can't be sending you properties which I haven't listed, because that way I'm not taking care of my seller. I'm like, I understand, but if you tell me the price you want and I give you the number which you want, can't you sell that to me? No, I have to put it on the list. Listen, because for you guys, you don't know what is going on this side. So I just listened humbly, and we talked for almost 15 minutes. And yeah, we parted, we bid goodbye to each other. Then I wrote him a very nice text, thanking him for his time and everything. Then he came back, he was like, but if you need a buyer's agent, let me know. I was like, if you can't give me your property, why should I cheat the other agent who has given me a property for you to represent me? Would you tell him that? I was like, okay, I will do. That was the last note on which I sent him. I will do. But because for him, it's unfair to give me an off-market deal. But he wants me to use him as a buyer's agent. Why can't I go straight to the listing agent?
Would you mind if I made a small change to what you're doing?
Sure.
Don't write him a nice email. Don't write him a nice text. What you're doing, when you do that, what you're doing is you're saying you're more important than I am.
Right.
And what he's telling you is he's not going to give you a pocket listing because he doesn't see you at his level. Now, if you had bought 4 or 5 houses from him and he knows you're a closer, guess what? The dynamic changes. And he's going to give you that pocket listing because he knows when he calls you, he's going to get paid.
Okay.
So what you want to do is you want to elevate your status.
Right.
And saying, you didn't give me what I wanted, but thank you much for being such a nice person. He's going to be like, oh, forget this guy. I know you want to be a nice person, but again, it was kind of like I was telling Dennis.
Yeah.
These people are transactional and they want to be like this.
Go.
Yeah. So just be transactional with them. Listen, I'm interested in buying the house. I need
Right.
this information. Thank you very much. What's your email? I'm gonna take a look at my numbers. I'm gonna send you over an offer.
Yeah.
Boom,
We
done.
had nothing anyway. It was this agent's outreach.
And I mean, I know the people that are successful in doing deals like every week.
Right.
They're basically calling them up and say, listen, I'm looking for fixer upper houses or houses that need an original condition. Do you have anything like that? No. Do you think you're going to have anything like that, in the next week or two? No. Hey, I'll talk to you in a couple of weeks. Bye.
Yeah, that's what I started to do. I'm off the scripts. I go straight. I'm an investor. I need, I need investment properties. Do you have any I can take a look at? Straight. There is no, I saw it's this or no. No, I'm an investor in the Vegas market, and this is what. And I've been getting good responses, But when I went on the scripts, it doesn't work. Like you said, these people are not to be greeted. You just go like, hello, yeah, this is so and so, and this is what I need.
Yeah.
Then you'll be like, are you an agent? No, I'm an investor. Okay, what do you really want? Now you're getting a conversation, but you've come in nicely, try to build a rapport. It doesn't work with agents. Like you say, you're right. They are transactional.
It doesn't be transactional with realtors. Build rapport when you're going direct to seller.
With sellers, true.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
And I can absolutely tell you when I'm working probate deals with people, executors that are later stages of their life.
Right.
I listen to grandkid stories. I listen to all kinds of stuff.
I know.
Yeah. And you're thinking to yourself, man, I could have made 8 phone calls by now, but you're building that relationship.
Now you build their
with that
rapport,
person.
to stick in their head that, hey, this
Realtors,
make it for us.
Realtors, information. I'll get back to you. Talk to you later. And again, the reason why is as soon as they hang up the phone with you, they're calling their list so they can get more listings.
True.
Whenever and ultimately when 2 people speak, somebody's being sold something.
Right.
I don't care. It's just the nature of communication.
True.
And what I always try to do is try to think about who am I talking to? And then how can I make that person's life easier?
Yeah.
Because if they're working with 5 different people, and 5 wholesalers they've never heard of before, 3 that are like submitting, stuff where they got to do a lot of paperwork, and then you come along and you're like, bing, bang, boom, here's the offer written out on a contract. He's like, man, this guy's for real.
Yep. Okay, Mike, thank you so much.
Something I learned a long time ago. People move away from pain and they move towards pleasure.
Once they see those numbers on the dotted lines.
Yeah.
Yep.
And again, the other thing is always go for no. The first offer you send in, you're expecting to get a no. You're expecting them to be mad at you.
Right.
Because if they accept it, you left money on the table.
I hear you.
So when I send over offers, I expect to have somebody mad at me. Because you can always negotiate up. You cannot
right, but you can't come down. It's hard to come down when you came all the way.
It's impossible to go down.
No, because they can't smell that blood and then you get away.
Yeah, but just it's part of the job to go out there and get a little negativity.
Right.
Just expect it.
For sure.
It's funny because a lot of times, I see people in the different groups. They're like, oh, I'm brand new, but I'm terrified to make phone calls. And I always post, listen, and I take a picture of $100 bill.
Right.
I will mail you this $100 bill if you will call 100 sellers
today.
Get 100 no's. Nobody can do it. And the reason why is because about the 10th phone call, you start getting good at it.
Right. Yeah. Because when I started, there was a lot of rejections, and I was like, what am I doing wrong? But no, even the way you word your pitch matters, you know. But it's a learning process. You keep doing it long enough, then you become, you develop a hard skill. And no, it's fine, thank you. And then I'll send him a text, like, thank you for your time, you know?
You know, and you weren't doing, when what you were just talking about, you weren't doing things wrong. What you were doing, you were learning.
Right.
And like you said, you don't use your script anymore. You know why?
No.
You've done it so many times, it's already in your head.
Yeah. And even it confuses me, because if you want to go word by word, then you'll be sounding like a robot.
Yeah.
But you just come in natural, because all you need is a distressed property. Then how long will that take me to put out that sentence? Do you have anything I can take a look at? Even to them, they are caught by surprise. You know, if you come straight forward, they'll be like, oh, no, not at this time. It's kind of like trying to beg mercy from you. Not at this time. I'm like, no worries.
Let me ask you a question. And this is just basic sales.
Right.
How many times, doesn't matter what you're selling, how many times does somebody have to see or hear the thing that you're selling before they buy? It's a rule of thumb in sales.
Right.
8. The number is 8.
8.
From the and I learned this from when I was working in the newspaper business, selling advertising. I got together with some big the GMs of big car dealerships.
Okay.
The industry knows this. From the time you decide I need a new car, it's 3.5 months until you buy a car. That means they've got a 3.5 month period to get their product in front of you.
Right.
TV, radio, print, direct mail, whatever, 8 times.
Wow.
Between the 6 and 8 time, you'll make a decision. Now, let me ask you a question. How do we apply this to real estate? How many people do you think call that realtor every day trying to get a wholesale deal? 10, 15, 20 text messages, emails, all kinds of shit?
Yeah.
But how many of those same people call that realtor every 2 weeks?
Yeah.
Most salespeople only make 1 phone call.
Let me take this call. All
right, see you.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Questions?
Hey, Mike, you were awesome. No, I mean, I got a lot today. I mean, my phone etiquette is pleasurable, and I need to be more rough with them. Just like, hey, give me this, give me that, gotta go.
Yeah, exactly.
It's so amazing, because I used to do collections, and I still had to have a smile on my voice. And I would have people say, there was a gentleman they used to call, and I go, hello, and he'd go, speak. And I'm like, it would throw me off. I'm like, what the hell? And one time I was mad at my house, and someone called, and I went, speak. And they were like, that's not how you answer the phone. So it's kind of funny that you have to do the phone etiquette a little bit different in order to get this ball rolling.
You want to hear something crazy? Do you know how long Elon Musk's meetings are? Every single day.
Probably like 5 minutes.
6. His longest meeting is 6 minutes, and he's the wealthiest person on earth right now. Everything that you need to do in a meeting can be done in 6 minutes. So if your phone calls are lasting more than 6 minutes, you're wasting time.
Wow.
Yeah,
that's what
he's got several. He's got several $100 billion more than I got, so I'm going to listen to him.
McElroy does the same. Ken McElroy is some realtor here, or not realtor, but multi-family guy that Pace looks up to, and he only works 4 hours a day or a week. A week.
Yeah. He probably read Tim Ferriss's book.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate you, man. I will talk to you. Go watch your Yankees. I appreciate everything that you've brought to this. This made this this is like a big boost for me, like just to understand where I was messing up. I mean, not messing up, but just not doing it the way it should be done. How's that?
Cool. Well, let's do this every Monday, 6 o'clock.
All right.
Hey man, I'll be the first person to tell you, business is a team sport.
Yes.
Anybody else got any challenges?
Hi, Mike. This is Carol. I came on late for some reason, when I almost didn't come on because I said an hour is gone and you guys are off already. So I'm glad I came on late, and I have until 9 because or whatever, whenever you're ready to go watch your Yankees. But what I got so far is really good. So I'm waiting for the recording of what I missed for the first hour. But I really like this.
I'm half kidding about the Yankees. If everybody's like, hey, I'm out of here, guess what? I'm going to watch a Yankees game. But now I love real estate. I love doing this stuff, and I've been doing it a long time. And I realize that I'm getting up in age and I need to start sharing my information.
Wonderful, wonderful. And we're here to soak it all up. Yes.
So what can I do to help you?
Well, I'm a new person. I just started in March, and I haven't done any deals yet. I've done about 2 EMDs, and this weekend I did Gator Wrestling. I connected 2 lenders to a buyer.
There you go.
Right, and now one of the lender is saying, send me the agreement to pay you, and all I did was verbally. They agreed to pay this much money, but I don't have a per se document to send. So now one of the person that got the money is saying, I'm sending you some documents for you to DocuSign. So I haven't seen them yet. So
are you a Gator, Carol?
Yes, I am a Gator.
Didn't you get the documentation from Pace?
I did. I just haven't done a real one yet. So this is going to be my real one when I sign it this week. Today.
All right. So what you're saying is you got 2.
Yeah.
You did 2 EMD deals verbally, right?
Yeah, I did. I did 1 via EMD before I started Pace, and then I did 2 since Pace.
So you can't say you haven't done a deal. You've done 3 deals.
Yeah, but I'm talking a wholesaler or whatever the other deals are. Yeah, but I guess I should stop telling people I haven't done a deal then, right?
You've done 3 deals.
Okay.
And you did the best deals in the world. You did nothing. You just connected people, and you're going to get paid.
Yeah, and I'm getting paid from the person getting the money and the person that I connected. So I'm getting paid on both sides.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. And the one guy that said he wanted $50,000, I got him 2 lenders. He took one and then he came back and said, let me have the other one. So is he supposed to pay me for twice for those 2? Because he took one, signed that one, and then he came back later and said, you know what, I need the other one as well. So I don't know what to do.
All right. The only thing I would change now that you've got a little bit of experience is get the paperwork done first.
Okay.
It's real hard to get the paperwork done after they've done the deal.
After they've done the deal. Okay.
But I mean, even if you didn't get paid a dime out of this, you created goodwill with 3 different people.
Yes, I did. Yeah. And it feels good. It feels good.
And guess who they're going to call when they got another deal?
Ooh, I hope me.
And the reason why is because you went out and made their life easier.
Yeah. All right.
And the thing about it is when I went down and called the list of Gators, I don't know if I told everybody this, but I raised $11.8 million just calling Gators.
What?
Yeah.
Okay.
I have a list of 150 Gators, and I spoke to every single one of them over a 2-week period after the last Elephant Challenge.
Right.
And I just said to them, because they all said to me, oh, we got this huge community. I said, no, if I just did a deal with you, how much money do you have? And everybody gave me their number, and that number added up to $11.8 million.
Well, I'm glad you say that, because I've been writing stuff down here and there. So I need to put it together so I know exactly how much money I have.
And
so,
halfway through that project, I started to think to myself, I don't think the people that belong to Pace's Gator group understand the total amount of horsepower in that group.
No, because I didn't, but I'm learning every day.
And I just got an email or a video or something from Pace where he brought in somebody who's got $300 million.
Yeah. And I'm like, I can't even pronounce those numbers. I'm like,
And that's
now
what
I know. Now I know how they do it.
that's what I'm saying is it's all about community. It's all about community. And I mean, you know, I met somebody. I can't. She told me not to give out her name anymore. So.
You met somebody. Go ahead.
But yeah, she actually told me that she works with an investment family. Let's put it that way.
Mm-hmm.
That they won't even look at it unless it's $40 million.
Wow, Jesus.
And that was one of the gators. Don't send
my.
me any commercial deals less than 40 million.
Oh my.
I told her I will no longer be afraid of anything on LoopNet.
Yeah, I know. Jeez.
But I'm saying that's what's going on in the Gator group.
That's what it's
obviously working well in.
Yeah, but you know what I find when I go in the Gator group, there's just so many people. There's thousands and thousands. So I wanted to get on a smaller group and build from there. And I'm so happy I'm on this group because it's smaller and I can build and probably ask more questions and get my questions answered rather than in your big group and you send it, put a question in, it goes to 500 people and they never get to you.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm like information overload on the Gator thing right now because there's too many people and Pace has too many Zooms going on. I'm like, God, can I get through one first?
Well, let me ask you a question. All right, so you clearly got the Gator thing down.
Right.
What can I do to help you get a deal?
Well, I got a deal this afternoon, but it's not a EMD deal. It's a gap deal, I think. As a matter of fact, I probably let me pull it up and read it.
What do you mean by gap deal?
Okay. Well, the person went out and bought the property already for 90,000, and he needed about 29.5 to fix it up so he can go ahead and sell it in 30 to 40 days, 45 days, and then not sell it, rent it, and then in 60 days he says he's going to refinance it. So I will get my payment back in 60 days when he refinance it, if I go for the deal. His closing date is July 13th.
What's the ARV on the property?
All right, let's see. He sent me the stuff this evening, but when I looked at it, he had a closing date of July 1st. So I called him back. I said, no, we're not doing July 1st is down the road. He said the title company, they talked and they changed it to July 13th.
Yeah, July 1st is Saturday.
Right. So I said, when you get the right paperwork with the closing date, then we can talk. And that's where I left it because I didn't want to go look at anything without the right closing date that he had on there.
All right. So the question is what's the ARV on this deal?
I am getting it for you.
Oh, okay.
Let's see. I'm not really sure. I have to find. Yeah, all right. He said the ARV is 150K. The purchase price is 90. The renter work, he says, is 15K. He's seeking 29.5 to fund the gap from the down payment to the closing costs.
Got it.
And he said his exit is to rent it out in 30. He said I looked at the property. There's not a lot of work to do. So it's a easy flip and easy thing in about a week or two he could turn around and rent it. And he said he has rentals in the area. He has people lined up for rent.
Okay.
But he just doesn't have a proper purchase agreement with the date. The closing date, right?
There's a couple red flags there.
Yeah.
All right. My calculator broke this morning, so I got to get a new one. But until then, I'm using a spreadsheet.
Okay.
So give me a second.
Can I mention something?
Yes,
sure.
Please.
So I went on a webinar last night from Jesse Rodriguez. I guess he's in California, and he's going to send me a some kind of sheet where it calculates if they're going to do a flip or not. It'll calculate your profit. It'll calculate if it's a good deal or not. It'll say good deal or bad deal. I'll let you guys know when I get it because it'll make it so much easier to know where the profit is and having to, guesstimate where a end buyer is going to be at.
Absolutely.
Right. Yeah. I would appreciate that when you get it as well. Yeah. And this property is in Columbia, South Carolina.
Nice.
Let's see.
All right. So what I would just calculate now here real quick.
Okay.
So if the ARV is 150,
Mm-hmm.
he's acquired it for 90.
Yes.
He needs $29,000 bridge money for rehab and closing costs and
Yeah, it's a 29.5.
yeah. So that comes out to a total of 119,000.
Mhm.
So if the property's solid ARV is 150, if he refis at 80%,
Yeah.
that gets you back to 120. So there, the bank would refi that at 120,000. So you would get your 29,000 back.
Okay. All right.
So I would go in and verify all those numbers, but the numbers work.
Yeah. What I need help with now, yeah. The ARV is good. I would get my money back, but here I go again. Haven't done a deal like this before. So I'm trying to figure out what the percentage to charge him or a chunk or whatever it is to take for this deal.
Well, the problem is all right. So I'm assuming that he's going to be able to go out and get bank funding at 80% of ARV.
Yes, he will.
That only gives him $120,000.
Right.
Well, the $90,000 to acquire the property plus your 29,000 adds up to 119.
Okay. And
So
again, and you say
literally no room.
exactly because you said
So
it's
you got to find out what his funding strategy is going to be.
Okay, fund there.
Because right now, if he gets a lender's going to give him 80% of ARV after it's all fixed up.
Mm-hmm.
There's not enough money for you to get a chunk.
Okay. What if okay, I'm not going to get a chunk. I'll get my money back. But if say I get a part of the deal down the road, if he's going to rent it out, I guess he's going to have to rent it with enough money to pay the lender back and pay him, get himself a profit and then to pay me. So
Exactly.
right. So it might not be a good deal after all. I might get my money back, but I'm not going to get a whole lot back on it. So
exactly. It might not be worth it to do that deal.
Right.
But again, I'm assuming he's going to get an 80% loan.
Right.
He might have something else where, he's like, I can get 95%. I don't know.
Right. But bottom line, if he gets 80, it's not enough meat on the bone. He has to get higher than that.
Right.
Okay. All right. All right. That's a starting point for me. Then when he comes back with the right document, then I can say that. Yeah.
And again, if he's going to be refinancing, he's going to be refinancing at 7%, and on a $150,000 house, I think that's going to be hard to get that property to cash flow.
Right.
And again, that's just with the information I have.
Right. And that's all information I have too. But this is my first deal and I don't want to jump to it before having somebody underwrite it and look at just like you helped me, make sure it's not there. Yeah, I would get my money back, but I wouldn't get anything back on it. And it's going to hold my money for 60 days. So no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're not in this to do it. You're not letting out money, especially $30,000 for free.
Right. Yeah. I want to build a relationship, but I don't want my money sitting there for free like that.
Yeah. It can be working
Working
with a bigger return somewhere else.
Yes. Well, thank you so much. So this is worth me coming on late.
I set aside 3 hours. I didn't know how long it was going to go.
I'm glad I did not be discouraged and say I'm late. I'm not getting on. So yeah.
When I worked in the newspaper business, I had 65 salespeople that reported to me, and they were always worried about going out and doing stuff. And I'm like, go out, screw it up, and I'll help you fix it.
Yeah.
One thing you can't do is you cannot steer a parked car.
That's true.
So that's why in talking to a lot of people, a lot of people are like, in the big group, I don't get the one-on-one time. So that's why, I said, hey, let's get together on Monday nights and we'll just do one-on-one stuff.
Right. That is true. That is true.
I don't claim to know everything, but I do know a fair bit.
Well, that's good. You know more than me, and I'm gonna ask questions. Now, I have another question. I have another gator with me, and he's actually going out and getting a lot of credit. He's doing like 6, 7 credit cards and getting all sort of credit line, And I don't want to do that for the simple reason I don't want to get in trouble with credits. I don't know how to use it yet. Like he just got a credit line, say he just lent somebody $50,000 at 15%.
Nice.
Yeah, but the credit that he took from the credit card is at 19 point something percent. So that doesn't make any sense to me.
Hold it a second.
Right.
He loaned out 50 grand at 15%.
Yes.
But the credit card's 19%.
Exactly.
The credit card's 19% annual.
Annual, yeah.
His 15% was what, over 60 days?
90.
Still, that's a good deal then.
That's a good deal?
Because he's getting 15% over 90 days, not 19% over
20. Okay.
Or over 3 months, where the credit card is 19% over 12 months.
Right. Okay. Even if he had made it for 6 months, it would still be ahead.
Oh yeah, as long as it doesn't go longer, Well,
right.
I shouldn't say that because
I
can't do that math in my head. But yeah, I mean, in 6 months, you're probably getting to break even.
Right. Yeah. It would have been nice.
But the good news is, think about if those credit cards got airline miles.
Yeah, he got that. And here's what would have been a better news is if he had those credit lines at 0% APR for 12 months.
There you go.
Yeah, then he could really be free money for him right there for 12.
That's yeah.
So
the only thing is though, when you borrow cash on credit cards, way back in the 80s, you would be able to, you would borrow money and it would accumulate at the end of the 30-day billing cycle.
Right.
But the banks got wise to what people were doing when they were going out and getting 50 and 60 credit cards to do exactly what we're doing.
Right.
But now when you take cash out of a credit card, interest starts the day you take the cash out.
Right. And the interest is a little higher than the other interest. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. So yeah.
But it would be nice if you could get one of those 0 APR cards, for 12 months. That would work.
Well, I applied for one yesterday. On Friday, and Chase is doing that.
Now, again, you got to look at that 0%. Is that based off of balance on the card, or is that cash withdrawals?
That I didn't figure out. So yeah, that's a good question.
I would definitely read the fine print on that one.
Right, because it might be more for the cash out rather than the thing. So yes,
yeah,
I would definitely.
That 0% for 12 months might be on a balance that you transferred in.
Right. Okay. All right. I'll read the fine prints and stuff because I'm waiting for them to look at it and approve it first.
Absolutely.
Good question. Okay.
Hey, Carol, are you on my list?
Yes, I'm on your list. I've spoken to you before, and you did send me that email. So yes.
Great. Okay.
Yeah. Is it all right if I put one more person on it that's in Maryland?
Sure.
Okay. I'll add them. I'll let him know when I get off.
Okay.
So it can be on it for next Monday, and I'll send you the information so you can put him on the list for Monday.
Okay. Yeah, I'll send out an email next Monday morning with the new link.
All right. So I can say I was on the very first one on Monday.
That's right.
I'm on the startup ones.
Yeah, when I'm going to, this is episode 157. You can be like, for the first one.
Yeah, because when you go on Pace's stuff, he called people out. Oh, I know you. I've been doing that. So, and 6 months from now, you say, oh yeah, Carol. We talked to Carol before. I know Carol.
Yeah.
Right, Joe? Joe's not saying anything. Joe's just smiling.
Yeah, it's just like that. I was on the first one.
I was on the first one.
Were you really?
No, I'm on the first one on this one.
Okay.
Yeah, this is the first Monday night one, so we're first on this one.
That's
yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I really appreciate this though. Yeah, I get one. We get one-on-one time right now. 6 months from now, we probably won't, but it's good to start up right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or what I might, I hear this from, and this is what gave me the idea, is a lot of people need these small breakout sections.
Yes.
Like when you go to a big conference in your room with, 2,000 people, but then they have the breakouts. where you
Breakout
go into
rooms, yeah.
smaller groups. I think that's,
Yeah,
you
I
get
like
more
that.
one-on-one and you can share.
Yes, that is true. That is true. Yeah, because I would never get the chance to ask these questions in a big group.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's it for me, but
All
I'm
right.
really glad I'm here.
Great.
Yeah.
Well, go out and make some stuff happen.
I will, and I will let you know about them. So
Okay.
we can see how it goes. Thank you.
All right. See you next week.
Yes, sir. Thank you. All righty.
Anybody else got anything?
Yeah, I was gonna. So, hey, Mike, this is Joe.
Yeah. Hey, Joe.
Hey, so I was going off of your buy box, the email that you sent, and in San Antonio.
Aha.
And so I looked up a few of them, but there's one that really stood out. Where is it? I think it's, yeah, right here. This one stood out because for many reasons. It fits right inside your buy box. Of course, I'm going to talk the guy down on the price because it's listed a little too high, and also it has a tenant until Saturday. And then of course, they have to go back in, take pictures, and look everything around, see what the condition of the property is once the tenant is out.
Gotcha.
So I was just gonna shoot you an email with, my calculator, see what if the numbers, where you would buy.
All right.
Because it's rent ready. Well, up until right now. The only thing that the reason this one jumped out is because it's an investor here in San Antonio that's selling some more of his properties through this one agent. So he's got other rentals that he has that are up for sale.
What kind of offer you're planning on making?
Well, they got it at 158, but I know that's not going to be a good number. I don't know what the number was I was going to come in at 135.
So what you're talking about is a cash offer.
Correct. Right.
But what's the key word? This is an investor selling off his portfolio.
Correct.
That opens it up to owner financing.
Yeah. Yeah.
You can go in with a cash offer, or say my line. Mr. Investor, you've been getting paid on this property every single month for the last 10 years. How would you like to continue getting paid on this property every single month, except not have the hassle of managing it?
Right.
Because
Okay.
investors get letting their money work for them.
Mm-hmm.
So you can go in with a cash offer, and you can go in with a full price offer, because you're going to make the profit in the terms.
Okay.
That's what I do.
So can I get 10 minutes of your time tomorrow?
Sure.
So or whenever you got time early in the morning tomorrow.
Sure.
I know you've been calling me at around 9 a.m. here, so it's 10 a.m. your time.
Yeah.
So it'll only take a couple minutes. I'll have everything ready, the calculator and all that other stuff. Because I don't do sub two. I only make offers for cash.
Yeah.
So that would be something that, maybe you and I can go over some of that, because I know you said the other day that you would shoot me some of the paperwork for sub two.
Did you get? Yeah, I would shoot you the paperwork after you got a sub two deal.
Right, after I got a sub two deal.
You don't need the paperwork until you got a deal.
Right. Yeah. So I'll do that. I'll just go over this information with you tomorrow morning.
Did a sub two deal this morning.
Oh, nice.
Now they haven't accepted it yet, but I sent it over. And we'll see what happens tomorrow morning. But the key word that you said is this is an investor selling off his portfolio.
Right. And I knew that's I have to mention that because that's what I was able to drag out of this realtor, because you know how realtors, when I talked to him on Friday, he was closing a deal. So if you don't call twice, you didn't call at all. So he picked it up on the second time, and he was at the table signing documents right when he picked up. And then I called him later that afternoon to follow up, and of course it's Friday afternoon. They don't work past noon, so agents go to lunch and they go home. That's how it works here in San Antonio. From what I've seen, a lot of around here, they go to lunch and the day's over.
And I've listened to Grant Cardone, who's currently worth like over $4 billion. He said the biggest change he would have made when he was in his 30s is he would have worked weekends.
Yeah.
Why stop working?
Yeah. Especially when people have more time to talk.
One of the things in this deal right here, when you're talking about owner financing to a realtor, keep reinforcing that you're going to make sure they get paid.
Okay.
See, because again, 99% of realtors, they think the only way to sell property is with cash, whether that cash comes out of your bank account or it comes from a mortgage company. All right.
Right.
Because they know they're going to get paid. In
Yeah.
a creative deal, you got to make sure that he's going to get the one thing he cares about, getting paid.
Yeah.
And that's what I did with this realtor. I made it real clear in the contract, buyer pays all closing costs, and I put in there realtor commission.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So when it comes to owner financing, yeah, you want to make sure the realtor knows the realtor's going to get paid, because you're like, oh yeah, we're going to do this, and I'm going to give him a note, and we're not going to pay for it for 5 years, and the realtor's going, how do I get paid?
Yeah, that's the only thing they want to hear first. So you need to lead with that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So now you got two options. You can go a low ball cash offer, or you can go a full price offer with terms.
Okay.
Your price, my terms, my price, your terms.
Okay.
And by terms, I mean, I want all cash. All right. Those are your terms. Well, you have to pay my price. I'm going to give you my price.
Yeah.
Oh, all right. You want to give me my terms, you're going to get your price.
I see.
Rule.
Okay.
It's the rule. But now you got two different options.
Yeah.
And the real kicker is see, because you're dealing with an investor, see if you can get the agent to let you speak to the seller.
Okay.
So you can say the magic words. You've been getting paid on this every single month. How'd you like to continue to get paid on this for every month, but not have the headache of owning it?
Perfect.
They say, yeah, I'd love to continue to get paid on this property. See, the thing about investors is they already know the asset. They already like the asset. That's why they own it.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a reason he's selling.
Two of them on the same street that they're selling.
That's what I'm saying. But there's a reason he's selling it. Probably because he's tired of it.
Yep. Tired landlords.
Yeah. And I don't know if you were on earlier when I was talking about, I'm actively working on buying coin-operated laundry. Every single offer is going to have some seller financing.
Right. Yeah. Well, then that was the other thing that we were going to talk about. Also, I've been meaning to jump on a call with you about that.
Yeah. We can do it tomorrow.
Yeah. In the morning. Yeah. We can do it in the morning.
Yeah.
Yeah. 10 minutes, maybe.
Yeah. I spoke to a woman Friday, and I guess they've got a good, they're both from South America. She speaks pretty good English. Husband doesn't speak hardly any.
Sure.
But they own a coin-operated laundry business, and they would be open to selling, except because the husband doesn't speak really good English, they want to use a broker who's a friend of the family.
Right.
That guy called me today, and he told me that he's a business broker and he specializes in coin-operated laundry. And I said, well, I'm not fixated on any one particular coin-operated laundry. Let's do business.
Wow. That is a great contact there.
Yeah.
That was really good. So now instead of you chasing all of them around, you're going directly to a broker who has a list of laundries that are up for sale.
And he was saying, what multiple are you looking at? I said 4. And he said, well, down here in South Florida, 4 is like if you have old machines, but this one has new machines. So you're going to be looking at more 4.5, 5. And I said, that's great. you know, can you send me comparables on, you know, coin operated laundries that have sold at a 4.5%, 5% multiple in the last 6 months? He says, I can. I said, well, then that's market. All I'm looking to do is buy an income stream. As long as it cash flows,
Yep.
I'll buy at a proper valuation.
Perfect.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that will work. That will work as long as you have an income stream.
That's right. I'm just tell these people what you want. I want to buy an income stream. If it doesn't cash flow, I'm not buying it.
Right.
No, if it's going to kick off, you know, $6,000-7,000 a month, I'm going to
Hey.
buy that.
Yeah, with other people's money.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't forget that part.
Yeah.
And that man right there knows who's going to fund it.
Yes, I do. Yes, I do. And also, and that was one of the things that I was going to talk to you about on our next phone call is contingency plan. You know, I've got lenders here, you know, that I've connected. I just connected with one who didn't have a problem writing $500,000 check for a portfolio.
Yeah.
But we didn't have enough time for the due diligence. He didn't give us enough time. So, and the contact is still there. He had other projects coming up,
Yeah.
but it was just, it is a ton of work. It's a ton of work.
Yeah, due diligence is a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
But
because he was buying 17 properties and he wanted $5.5 million to get it from the management company that was selling it to him. And then he had the long-term investor coming in later and paying it off within 45 days.
see, here's the thing, and you hear Grant Cardone talking about it. You'll hear Pace talk about it. There is way more money than there are deals. But rich people, when they've made it, don't work hard. They don't have to. They've already worked hard.
Yeah.
So now they need somebody like us who's hungry that will go do the work and put their money to work.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's fair. Well, we get there one day.
And it is not a sprint. It's a marathon.
Exactly. Right.
It's just
slow and
making
steady.
phone calls every day, making contacts. What I do is I sit here, you know, when I'm making phone calls, I got my Google Voice open, and I also open my contacts tab. And whenever I talk to a new realtor, I just put in their name, their phone number, they're a realtor, what state they're in, what city they're in, you know, and I save it. I've probably got 600 or 700 contacts.
Right. Yeah.
Never throw away a contact, because somebody might be crappy today, but they could turn into a prince tomorrow.
That is true. That is true. That is true.
You never know who knows who.
Yeah, that's
And
true.
all of us are 6 people away from Kevin Bacon.
Yes.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah. Well, when he came to play, him and his brother's band came to play not too far from us, about an hour away.
Really?
Been right
Did he
there in
go-
front, you know.
You didn't go?
No, we didn't go. This place is hard to get into. If you're not in line an hour before, you're not getting into this place. It's a historic place.
Yeah.
Wow.
Like sometimes you gotta go 2-3 hours before.
Yeah.
An hour before you're not getting in.
Yeah. An hour before, yeah, because the parking lot fills up quick and there's a line. You know, we've been there before the line showed up.
Mhm.
And yeah, once they have that little marker, boom. That's it. Everybody from here on out, you can go ahead and go back to whatever else you were doing. You ain't
Wow.
getting it here.
Yeah. That's how it works.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll talk to you in the morning then. Thanks a lot for taking a few minutes right now to talk to me.
Absolutely. Great. Yeah. Yeah.
All righty. Well, thank you also.
Carol, thank you. Tyrone, you got anything? Nope.
No.
It's just
How
well,
about Francis?
yeah, Francis is still on. We already spoke to him.
Oh yeah, you were talking
Yep.
to when I came
Yep.
on, yeah. Okay, so Tyrone is gone someplace.
All right. Well, that's 2 hours and 15 minutes. This was freaking awesome. I really, really, really enjoyed this.
I really appreciate it. We'll definitely keep in touch. And Joe, I wrote down your information, so I'll keep in touch too.
Yep. And we'll see you guys next Monday night, 6 p.m. Eastern.
Yeah, 6 o'clock. Thank you so
All right.
much.
All
Have a
right,
great
guys. See ya.
evening. Bye-bye.
All right.
Thanks, Mike.